Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the channel Cap Social Network, also known as Capri Social Network. So, in today's video, ladies and gentlemen, I wanted to talk about both a pretty taboo and a pretty sensitive subject and topic on behalf of Black American women in domestic violence. With that being said, I wanted to read some facts pertaining to this particular subject on behalf of, once again, Black American women and domestic violence. And these facts are on behalf of the website. Very, hold on, folks. Let me repeat that in case you didn't hear me. I wanted to state some facts and read some them to elaborate more on this particular topic and subject on behalf of a website by the name of verywellmind.com. And once again, it's on behalf of how African American women, on behalf of all other races and groups of women, usually suffer or experience domestic violence at much disproportionately, much more disproportionate rates than other races of women. Without further ado, I'm going to share my screen and read some of the facts that I happen to highlight. Okay, it starts off by saying women of sexual minorities also experience higher rates of domestic violence, with 44% of lesbian women and 61% of bisexual women experiencing rape, physical violence, and slash or stalking by an intimate partner in their lifetime. There is also an age pattern where women between the ages of 18 and 24 are most likely to experience domestic violence, followed by teens between the ages of 11 and 17. This age pattern was observed among Black women as well. One study found Black women under the age of 30 are 3 times more likely to experience domestic violence than Black women under the age of 40. Hmm. The study also noted that Black women living in impoverished areas are 3 times more likely to experience domestic violence than those living in other areas. And for some of you who may want me to elaborate or specify more on the word impoverished, that's another way of saying poor, either poor or urban areas. So I'm going to read some more facts to elaborate on this particular topic as well. If you want to bear with me, um, let me highlight something else. If you could bear with me again. Despite the fact Black women experience domestic violence at exceedingly high rates, they are disproportionately more likely to be criminalized by the system when seeking help. Not only must they deal with racism and stereotypes when contacting police, but they are also routinely arrested when trying to defend themselves against an abusive partner. Because of this, Black women are disproportionately more likely to die at the hands of an abuser. According to the Violence Policy Center, Black women were murdered by men at nearly 3 times the rate as white women. In 2018, that represents a rate of 2.85 per 100,000 compared to 1.3 per 100,000. So I'm going to stop sharing this screen, folks, and I'm going to show some clips, all courtesy of TikTok, on behalf of this particular matter from a female, an African American female, going into full detail about her um experiencing dealing with experiences dealing with domestic violence from an intimate partner firsthand, to also another clip of one that was tragically murdered due to her experiencing domestic violence as well. So bear with me once again, folks.
months, I've had a domestic violence restraining order on my child's father, and despite that being granted, they still made me co-parent with him. I asked for supervised visitation and exchanges, and the judge denied me and then looked at my child's father and said, "I hope you don't make me regret this decision." Well, on Friday at drop-off at a police station, my child's father went off on me. The video's on my page. So I immediately called the police after that, and they told me it takes 48 to 72 hours for the DA to see if they're going to press charges or not. It is Wednesday. 5 days later, I knew they probably didn't work on the weekend, so I did not call on Monday. So it is Wednesday. I just called today. I called the DA's office, and they haven't received anything. So I called the police station, and they tell me that they're understaffed. So it's going to take a week or two for them to get it to the DA. And he threatened my life. I sent them video evidence. So I asked, like, is this how you treat, like, all domestic violence cases? Like, he broke the restraining order by threatening my life multiple times. And they still made me do pick up with him on Sunday. There were no police officers available, so they just turned the camera on me to make sure I was okay. And he still threatened my life. But you couldn't hear that through the camera. I feel like nobody is taking me seriously. He knows where I live, what I drive, where my family lives. And to, like, top it all off, on Friday when I called the police officer, he asked me, can he call my baby daddy to get his side of the story, and would he cooperate? I said no, because I'm scared for my safety and he knows where I live. And you know what that officer did? Still called my baby daddy. This system is disgusting. All the cop could advise me to do today was to actually wait for a cop to do drop-off next time. And I said, no, I'm not doing drop-offs ever again. I'm literally scared for my life, and people are taking it as a fucking joke.
I'm sorry, folks. My mic was muted by mistake. Anyway, I wanted to also touch on some of the things she just said, and this just goes to show you how she described her child's father, him being abusive for the most part. Uh, This goes to also show you, ladies and gentlemen, how so many of our women always pick some of the worst guys they could find, some of the most toxic and dysfunctional guys that they could find, guys by the likes of uh, womanizers, drug dealers, gang bangers, in some cases, all of the above, guys that they know are no good for them from the very start, but they still choose to have kids by. This is one of the main reasons why also so many African American women either have suffered, um, have dealt with being murdered by the likes of men of this nature, or are on the verge of dealing with that consequence. In the worst case scenario, women that have the opportunities, all the opportunities in the world to leave these men, but refuse to do out of fear for one reason. Another reason is usually due because of low self-esteem. In some cases, both reasons. And these women, I look at it also from this perspective, ladies and gentlemen. You may disagree, but then again, you may agree with me on it. Some women look at this as signs of true love, but it's not. I consider these types of instances and circumstances cases of toxic love, especially to make matters even worse whenever a kid may have to deal with parents that are always getting into physical altercations with each other while that kid is using a home and is usually able to actually see the couple having physical altercations right before their eyes, which in some cases may turn deadly, and in some cases, excuse me, in the worst case scenario, if the child does witness a circumstance of that nature, that could usually have a long-term traumatic and psychological effect for the most part on a kid once they reach society, especially if the kid may be as young as a toddler. That's even worse, in my personal opinion. And even not only that, but they usually may have to be taken into adoption by another family member, whether it may be either auntie, uncle, cousin, grandparent, and so on and so on, due to these exact kind of instances and circumstances. Anyway, I'm going to show a few more clips on behalf of this here topic. So bear with me once again.
Months, I've had a domestic violence restraining order on my child's father, and despite that being
fuck out of you right now how I feel. I really mean that.
Yo,
Leave me the fuck
shut
alone.
the fuck up.
Leave me the fuck
I
alone.
don't give a fuck.
Leave me the fuck alone.
Because you're mad about stupid shit.
You're mad about stupid shit. You're mad about stupid shit. Can we talk about it, nigga? You mad about stupid
Move
shit,
back
nigga?
away from me.
I ain't backing away from shit. You look out, man. Bro, I'm about to beat your ass, bro. For real. For real. For real. Like dead ass serious. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. Like dead serious. Stop talking to me, nigga.
You're simple-minded.
You simple-minded, bitch.
Move.
Nigga, get the fuck off of
Get
me,
away
nigga.
from me.
And after experiencing this here clip, I guarantee you, folks, this here guy is one of those guys, either a drug dealer, gang banger, or a womanizer, a guy that, in other words, who goes from woman to woman only to have a woman he's already staying with in the same home with, and just going by his language, his profanity and foul language, that's kind of a sign right there, a red flag that he's either one of the three, or in some cases, he may happen to be all of the above, a gangster, drug dealer, and a womanizer. And this is also a prime example, once again, ladies and gentlemen, of how African American women, not all of them, but quite a bit of them, uh, love to be in relationships with these kinds of guys, the same guys, exact guys who they know won't make good husbands or good fathers. Yet in the same breath, they like to brag about these guys. One minute, then the next minute they like to complain about them, if not their female relatives, usually their girlfriends, only to get advice or counseling from women of that nature, either if not usually female friends, usually female relatives, to form the leave those types of relationships, to find guys that mean them well, only to still not take any advice, any sound advice from those types of women. Instead, in most cases, or some cases, these types of women that usually experience what this woman was experiencing in this clip may end up marrying these types of guys in the worst case scenario. And later on down the road, when they may want to leave these types of guys, it's usually too late, because I'll say it once again, in the worst case scenario, these women end up dying due to being and murdered due to being with these types of men, some of the most toxic and dysfunctional men that they could find. Out of all the men that may be willing to form um, wholesome relationships with them, excuse me, and even be willing to be stepfathers to their kids from previous relationships. Guys, in some cases, that are some of the most successful guys, career wise. These women will go out their ways to reject these type of guys that have their heads on straight for guys that in some cases don't work, instead look for the woman to work. And believe it or not, some of these women that have these type of guys that they work for are some of the most successful women, career wise, women that may be either doctors, women that also may be professors at colleges, lawyers, judges. I could go on and on. Women with those type of professions, in some cases, usually go for these types of men. Men that like to dog them out, and men that always like to give them a hard time. Anyway, I'm going to show around 3 more clips on behalf of this subject.
Entire city is crying because of what happened to Amanda Williams. And if you watch this post, you probably gonna be crying too. This well-known business owner and joy to the community was allegedly shot 5 times and unalive. And guess who the suspect is? Her fiance, Tyrone Edwards, and apparently it was because she didn't want to be with him no more. And I don't like it. Check this news clip out.
Friends and neighbors share their memories of a Warrensville Heights business owner.
It's empty right now. Lost for words.
The victim's fiance in police custody tonight.
She's definitely gonna be missed. I truly love Amanda.
A single bouquet of flowers outside a la mode style salon in University Heights.
I hate to hear that.
Fills an empty spot as the community mourns the loss of Amanda Williams.
That's Amanda right there. I've been knowing Amanda for at least 30 years, and we've been friends, buddies from the day I met her.
Williams not only built a popular salon, but also a family-like network among neighboring businesses.
Just the little things that I'm gonna miss. So much love.
It's gonna be hard. It's definitely gonna be hard.
Rachel Owens says she feels an emptiness in her heart too.
It's definitely gonna be hard. Thank you, Rachel.
She runs a business upstairs from Williams Salon and says she will miss coming down to chat with her friend.
Knowing that we was a family and a team, no matter what, we was always a family.
Sadly, that tight unit has been torn apart after Warrensville Heights police responded to a domestic disturbance on Monday, just before midnight. When officers arrived, they found Williams with several gunshot wounds, where she later died at the hospital. Pastor R.A. Vernon of the Word Church says her death has left a big hole in many people's hearts.
There's some people, and I've been doing this a long time, that when they walk in the room, they light up the room. That was her. And she'll be sorely missed, and we're grieving the needless death because of domestic violence.
You know, she's such a positive person, such a caring person. You can't say enough about how special she was to the community, to her friends, to her sorority sisters, to me.
As this investigation continues, Warrensville
Throw the
Heights
book
police
at him.
confirmed they have Terrell Edwards in custody at their jail.
Prayers in the
Sources
comments
tell
for the
News
family
5
and Amanda,
is Williams'
please.
fiance.
October 5th, 30-year-old Cara Hudson was shot to death in front of her children. A week ago, she posted this video on Facebook. It was a desperate plea for help. According to her family, Cara had been staying at her mom's house to get away from her abusive husband. Cara said that she begged the Buffalo police for help, but they refused to help her. She left her mom's house yesterday to drop her children off at school. She was planning to go and file for custody. But her mom said when she left, she wore a bulletproof vest and told her that she believed her husband was going to kill her. Shortly after she left, her sister said that her husband rammed Cara's car and then got out with a shotgun, shot her, and then pulled off. Her 3 children witnessed the whole thing. Police are now searching for Cara's husband, Adam Benfield, who was wanted for questioning by Buffalo PD. Now that more people are becoming aware of what happened to Cara yesterday and the abuse that she was suffering, people are questioning the actions of the Buffalo PD, and many believe that they failed Cara by allowing her abuser to be free. Cara left behind 3 children, and I haven't seen any information about a GoFundMe yet, but I'm sure this family will need the full support of the community. Domestic violence is real, and Black women are affected by it at an extremely high rate. My heart breaks for Cara's family, especially her children. I hope they get justice.
Subscribing to the belief that we shouldn't call the cops on Black men when they hurt us. We're no longer
So go watch the rest of her video for the full context, but she's essentially saying that Black women, we need to stop feeling bad about calling the police on Black men if, we're being threatened or we're in danger. And that just reminds me of when I was in my toxic relationship, and it ended up in me having to get a protection order where essentially a lot of the things that would happen, it was physical. There was physical, emotional, basically every abuse you can think of. It was, there was coercion there. There was manipulation. There was a religious manipulation. There was physical abuse and also emotional abuse and spiritual abuse. And today I'm stronger, but I just want to make this video as to hopes like it would help another woman that is maybe contemplating about something like that. I was dealing with that bullshit for 2 years. 2 years I dealt with someone, he was like stepping. So I was like 100 something pounds around that time. So very small. Even then people might be like, you're still small. And he would put his whole body weight. So he's over 160 pounds. Put his whole body weight and like step on my feet. Like get himself on my feet, like dig his nails into my skin. And that shit hurt. Slap my phone out of my hand. Push me real hard. And I'm little. So you imagine some 160 pound dude like pushing you, so I'm falling into stuff and everything. I mean, he got so mad once he was punching doors, punching holes in the door in our apartment, ripping off the closet hinge. He was throwing my belongings around, breaking my belongings, and it was a lot of that on top of emotional abuse as well. And there was one moment in our first apartment that I had with him that we got in an argument really bad, and he ended up grabbing me and he was shaking me very hard. And because of I don't know if it was the adrenaline in the moment, but he had grabbed my arm so hard that the next day, my whole arm was sore and I had bruises on my left arm. And I had no clue how to react. Like I didn't know how to react to the situation. I called the domestic hotline and I was just like, I don't know what to do. I'm scared, like I just didn't know. Like I couldn't, it was hard for me to process. And they were just, talking to me through it. And eventually I had started to get over it a little bit, but then I got back with him. And I got back with him knowing that he did this information. And there was a time where I told him, look, we're going to make this work. I don't want you doing that again. And I didn't call the police on him. And there were moments where his siblings had to come over to help mediate because they live like literally in the same apartments, but different apartment buildings. So they would walk to our apartment to help mediate the situations between me and my ex. And when that happened, after I told him, don't do it again, right? And he did it again. Now, it wasn't hard enough again to leave a bruise, but it traumatized me. And again, I didn't call the police because it was just like, he kept calling me, oh, you're a cop caller, you're one of those. And it's like, he was way bigger than me. I'm not going to sit here and try to fight no 160 pound man. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't going to do that because I knew the type of man he was is the minute I did something that gave him an excuse for him to put his hands on me and be like, oh, well, I was defending myself. So fast forward to 2022, we were in our second apartment, excuse me. And he was, you know, again, with the breaking stuff and physically abusing me, also coercion and stuff like that. And I just had a moment, like I was with my current boyfriend when I was still living with my ex, and I was trying to wait till the lease, you know, went out so I can hurry up and get my shit out. And then he slapped my phone out of my hand. I don't even remember what we were arguing about. Probably something about the trash. Nothing that big, but it escalated to this big argument. He started calling out my name and everything, and I started, you know, defending myself because if someone's calling you out of your name, are you not going to defend yourself? So I started talking back, and he said, you're going to respect me. You're going to respect me. And he started, you know, stepping on my feet again and digging his fucking toenails into my feet skin. Like, literally that shit hurt. And he's heavy as hell. Then, from there, he slapped my phone out of my hand. And I was on the phone with my boyfriend. He slapped my phone out of my hand, trying to hang up the phone. He would be getting on the phone telling my current boyfriend, you don't need to be with her, da-da-da-da. Like, you're basically just doing all this weird shit. And so I had enough. And I was like, I'm going to call the police. If you don't leave me alone, you don't get out of the room, I'm going to call the police. He didn't want to let me leave. There would be multiple times where he didn't want me to, he wouldn't let me leave the house, or he would block the door. He wouldn't let me leave the room, to points where my current boyfriend was like, do I need to come up there? Like, what's going on? And so from there, we got to the argument, and then I called the police. I called 911 and I told them, please get someone here to mediate the situation because I'm feeling scared for my life. We've had this altercation before, and I can't do this anymore. You know what I'm saying? I can't do it. I'm tired of feeling threatened or feeling like I'm going to get hurt. And he always was threatening me all the time as well. So then we wait an hour for the police, and while in that hour, I go outside to get away from the apartment, and I'm sitting in my car, call my mother, she comes up, I'm telling her everything that's going on. I'm on the phone with my current boyfriend, and I'm informing him of what's going on, and we're waiting for the cops. My ex proceeds to come outside, instigate, argue with me, get in my face, get in my mother's face, disrespect me, disrespect my mother, where a neighbor had to literally remove him, like, hey, bro, you need to back up, like, physically move him off me and my mother because he was, you know, like, he was gonna do something. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I tell the police, it's like, this is not the first time me calling, like, this has been happening for so long. I finally I had enough. You know, I was feared for my safety and I wanted to protect myself. But I'm not going to put my hands on this man because I already know, like I said, he would use that as an excuse to try to punch me or do something. And he's told me out his own mouth that he would do that. So then the cops are like, I recommend getting a protection order, stuff like that. And so I did. And I had to go to court and I testified and I got my protection order for a year. And it already expired, but things are, you know, good now. I'm left alone and stuff like that. But it gave me the peace to break the lease. I got away from him. I got to be happy in my current relationship. I got to start afresh, essentially. And I'm just saying this to say to any Black woman that's contemplating on that, please do it. Please do it. Like, your life is way more important. Like, we understand the things happening with Black men in the police, but if they want to act a fucking fool, who cares? Who cares? If it's about your safety, you need to do it. He even recruited a neighbor who was like, why would you call the police on a Black man? I'm like, I don't give a fuck. If you're threatening my safety, my livelihood, you think I'm going to give a fuck about his? No, because he didn't care when he was hurting me. It was okay to hurt me until then I brought the law in and now it was a problem. And that's how I got my justice, was finally going through the law. And so I'm telling someone that's going through this, please, 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 don't sit there in silence. Don't sit there and suffer if you don't have to. Even if you need to call the police for them to mediate the situation, do it. Do it. Because who knows what could have happened had I not done that. I mean, thank goodness I'm still here today, but things could have gotten bad to the point where I may not be, and it happens all too often. So please use this video, watch the previous video, and understand, as a Black woman, your safety matters. You need to come first to yourself. Who cares about what's going to happen to him? He didn't give a fuck when he was hurting you, so you need to care about yourself now. And yeah, I'm going to just leave the video at that.
With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you like the video, you comment on it, you share it. Last but not least, you subscribe to the channel. Until next time, you guys have a good one.